To keep your First Alert forecast fresh on TV, radio, the web, the WECT weather app, and social media, it takes a team of meteorologists. Gabe Ross joined the First Alert weather team in early 2017. At that time, Gabe was in his second year with WECT News as news operations manager. Gabe did a phenomenal job pivoting into his new position, and recently he and I sat down to shoot the breeze. Like to do these conversations when it's a birthday month. March is your birthday month,
yes,
Gabe.
Yes, it is.
Welcome to Shoot the Breeze.
Hey, good to be here finally. I'm on the back end of it usually, but not the front end, so I appreciate that.
Big time.
Yeah.
Credits. You help a ton with the editing, and that's kind of where I wanted to start this conversation because of anybody in the First Alert weather team. I think your media experience is more extensive and diverse. I mean, you've been doing this for coming up in production. You've done sketch comedy. I mean, hit some of the high points, how you came up and how this helps you to this day.
Ultimately, I couldn't decide what I wanted to do, but also the other end of that is I was pretty much born into a television family. So my dad was a general manager for a TV station in Columbus, Ohio. My mom was an on-air personality. They met, my brothers and I all grew up in and around TV. So passion started there very early. Dad also instilled in me an understanding of how the industry works. So my very first job was working behind the scenes in master control. So understanding how programs are fed, how they're distributed to, in this case, our audience. And it's changed over the years, of course. And it wasn't until about junior year of college that I dated a meteorology major. And I thought, wow, you know, this passion I've always had for weather, you know, maybe I could actually make a career out of. So it started there. That was actually March 17th, 2009 was my first weathercast. So I've been going on strong since the late 2000s, which is kind of weird to say out loud, but I haven't looked back. It's been a joy ever since.
For sure, and it's a joy having you on the team. So you have the TV chops for sure. That goes back to practically when you were in diapers. And you mentioned there's the weather angle, the interest, the passion. Name one or two defining weather moments for you coming up, or perhaps since your career has taken off here.
Sure. I think like a lot of folks, you know, when you're a kid growing up, you don't quite understand severe weather. Sometimes you hear these tornado sirens, and it can be scary. I was exactly that way when I was in second grade. We had a string of severe weather days in the middle of summer. I believe it was 1996 in East Central Ohio, and didn't quite understand it, but I was always from that point very glued to what the weather forecast would be. Fast forward to my later years in school, middle school, high school, understanding a little bit more about how weather systems form, and kind of conquering that knowledge conquered my fear of those said storms. So that kind of created the passion in that. Certainly the two most outstanding storms that stand out to me, one of which came in my time in Ohio. It was a very strong derecho that moved through June 29th of 2012. So it's a little over 10 years, and it knocked out power to a good chunk of the residents in East Central Ohio. I know that my house was out for over a week. It was just that strong a storm. As you know, derechos certainly pack a punch. So that was the big storm in my career up until, of course, Hurricane Florence. And that, I think, for not just myself, but many of us, that's now the benchmark storm as far as experience goes, as far as living through and just even the aftermath too.
For sure. I remember we were on for days in Florence. We were on for many hours in Dorian with
yes.
you know, spot treating some of those tornado warnings. We're working hard, praying hard for all of our neighbors, and there's a lot of coffee and ibuprofen that go into that situation as well. Those are tough days, but there's some great days living and working in Wilmington. What do you like best about it?
You know, I say it all the time. Really, it's the people of southeastern North Carolina. Not that the folks in Ohio are terrible people by any stretch, but you come down here, Southern hospitality is a real thing. And from the first day that I stepped down in Wilmington and went out and about in the community, just met with friendly faces, people that are really willing to give you the shirt off their back to help you out, make sure you're doing okay. And I think that's what's kept me here since 2015 is the people. Of course, obviously the weather team is a big proponent of that, but just the folks in the community. I don't come across people that are bitter or angry, at the weather people. If it is the case, it's very, very seldom. everyone else is in a great mood. And so doing what I do, I love to give back in that sense. If I can be on the green screen or giving a weather forecast and bring a smile to somebody's face while I'm doing it to repay the favor, it's worth it.
That is awesome. But tops among the people, that one special person, you got somebody in your life that you guys are, it's about to get real. Let's just say that a little later in spring. Tell us about you getting hitched.
Yeah, it's funny how sometimes this career will lead to bigger things, not just professionally, but personally. I met my fiance Isabella working here at WECT.
Let's go.
Spoiler alert, we're an item, so.
Worst kept secret, everybody now.
I heard about Gabe and Isabella in your room there. I've been eavesdropping on your conversation. So.
She started in the master control end, then she was on the production end, and yeah, she was one of those people that I saw. I'm thinking, oh, I'm not gonna have a chance with her. There's no way. She's too good for me. But ultimately, she gave me a chance. We've been together since New Year's Eve of 2017, so I guess New Year's of 2018, and we're going to get married on May 13th, and we have a golden retriever now, Gentry, so our family's growing a little bit, fur baby, of course, but man, like, talk about hitting the jackpot. I certainly did.
Well, you don't know unless you shoot your shot. You did. Good job. Thanks for shooting the breeze.
Of course.
With me today.
Happy to do it.